And next up in our season preview, it's time for a look at all three teams' outlook heading into the 2025 season. For this preview, we'll assign odds to indicate how we see each team's chances of winning the championship. These odds can and will change as we get closer to game day and rosters change, but here's our outlook as things stand 1 month away from the season. Lions odds to win championship, 8-1. This was the underdog team before the start of free agency. They are still the underdog team, but signing Rohrbach definitely helped. Getting Rohrbach was a W, and they are supposedly close to also signing Brian Lally. But they have to get a quarterback on board who can hit receivers better than the Dragons did last season with most of the same players. That Dragons offense was filled with talented players, but could barely get into the end zone. The team's biggest need is definitely a quarterback. Then there's the question about the captain Derek Hood's role himself, what position he will play, or if he will be the first captain since David Hill to go full coach mode and patrol the sidelines. We've seen Hood play some defensive line, but his greatest strength was helping draw up plays as a coach for the Red Raiders' 2022 championship team. Next up, we have the Wolverines, with 6-1 odds to win this year's championship. Their biggest need? Leadership. Not since the madness of the Red Raiders' 4-championship run in football and the obsession that drove it have we seen a captain that eats, sleeps, and breathes football like Rasheem Presbury. He's awake at seemingly all hours of the night, thinking of plays, thinking about the season. He's always there with a quote. And the late hours is also where he gets himself into trouble. Jamar Gates was a great pickup for them, but then they stumbled by attempting and then ultimately failing to convince Nadir Chisholm out of retirement. Some questioned why they wanted Chisholm to begin with, but the idea behind it was that a trio of Sheen, Jamar, and Chisholm had familiarity together from playing flag football, and that they would be able to easily practice together. Rasheem felt he could help continue to rebuild Chisholm, who had lost confidence in his ability to play in SCW Sports years ago. But Chisholm ultimately didn't feel up to it and turned the Wolverines down. Rasheem broke away from being a guy on a championship team, so he could instead be the guy on his own team. So he knows there's a lot on the line, legacy-wise here. He's called some good plays as a coach, he's played decently as a receiver and defensive back, but we haven't seen him emerge as a leader in SCW football yet. And lastly, last year's champions and this year's team with the best odds to win the championship, the Wolves. The Wolves' biggest need to repeat as champions may be in the area of focus and drive. Are they satisfied with their victories over the Dragons, or do they have the drive to try and go down as an SCW football dynasty and wipe out this year's competition? The Wolves return players from the previous year's team, such as Carl Watts, Joaquin Gates, Sean Monahan. On paper, the Wolves have the best trio, the best chemistry, and the best chances heading into the season. The knock on them is that both their championships came in a single-game format, rather than multiple wins in a series. This year's format will be their chance to win a championship in a true 2-win season format and really cement their legacy. On the field, the Wolves are unbeaten. Off the field, the Wolves' team management has been questioned. Rasheem left the Wolves after unknown issues, and additional Wolves players may too grow frustrated by the team's lack of communication and not securing their status this season. As the Wolverines and the Lions are hard at work building and preparing their teams, last year's champion Wolves have been described as being asleep at the wheel, having not even completed the necessary steps to officially enter yet. Because of their status as past champions, there has been efforts to make extensions for them, but some people fear a situation repeating like what happened with the Yetis in baseball, where they could miss the entire season. But Wolves fans fear not. The league says the Wolves entering is just a formality of money, and that they still fully expect the Wolves will be back playing again this season. Now that he finally has a secure spot quarterbacking on a team that believes in him, And with the monkey off his back from finally winning his first championship last year, Sean Monahan can probably be counted on to once again give a steady, confident performance at quarterback. Monahan's knowledge of the sport and the particular rules of SCW football helps any team that he is on. Despite his otherworldly talents, Wolves captain Carl Watts has admitted to being a guy who does not read the rulebook as much as he should, so Monahan's presence is necessary to help keep the team out of penalty trouble. Sean's knowledge of the rules is so trusted that he was named head official for the game between the Wolverines and the Lions. If they do take the field, the odds favor them most heavily to win the championship. But of course, plenty can still change between now and September 28th. So keep following us along the road to kickoff of SCW Football's 7th season.